You gon' get me caught up, love drunk. Oh, you. Excuse me. Let's get it started. It's never worth it, guys. It's never worth it. Guys gotta have mental fortitude because these motherfuckers will fuck you up. All right, let's get into it. How do I share this shit? I know it's really close to my noggin, so my bad, guys. If I'm uncomfortably close to you, kind of limited space on my desk here. All right, guys, we're going to be talking about exactly why you don't confide in women. Solutions to marriage. That was the 14th. Let's delete it. All right, guys, let's let a few people get all on in here, and then we're gonna get started. We're about to get started. On the podcast. Give you guys a few minutes to get on in here. Let's close that out. We don't need that open right now. We're about to get started. Get a few more people in this mother sucker. Play compete tonight. We already live. If we get the copyright, whatever, we get the copyright. Fuck it. Let's close that out. All right, everybody that's joined, just hit a like. Who's joining the chat? I'm gonna give it a few more seconds, and might not be that many people, but at the moment. But I'm about to just get started anyway, because it is being recorded, and you guys can always just see. And I will start in 2 minutes. Just giving some people some time to join the chat. Oh, and we are about to get started. Alright, whatever. Motherfuckers ain't joining. I'm about to get started. I don't got time for this shit. We about to get it going. Is that shit on Patreon? No, I posted it. Whatever. We're getting started. Let's find out what podcast episode this is, and we are about to get started on tonight's podcast. We are about to get started. All right, podcast number 114. All right. I'm tired. J Lab. Boom. All right, podcast episode number 115. Tonight we're going to be talking about a prime example as to exactly why you don't confide in women. So I did hear about this story. I didn't hear about it in detail until the other day. Um, I was in the car with my mom, and I actually saw the live, but a guy just saying in the process of just doing crazy things to loved ones. Now I would like to say mental health is the real thing. Not everybody has the same mental fortitude. Um, but let's get into the topic. What I'll do first is I'll play the clip and we'll go from there. Now, the clip can be very disturbing. I hope YouTube doesn't. I shouldn't get red flagged for this, but let's get into it.
That supported me and really knows what's going on. Thank you all. I've been going through a custody battle. I've been going through having my ex-wife say I molested my children and all kinds of craziness. Been fighting for custody for 3 years. So, shit has been real crazy. What's up, Oliver? You know about this. Going through it with my ex-wife, blah, blah, blah. So, meet, and start dating somebody new. And she got pregnant. And, we got in a fight. First thing she does, threatening that she's going to do the same thing. You're never going to see your kids, blah, blah, blah. It's the holidays, man. I don't have no family, nothing. Anyway, I just did something crazy, man. I just shot my ex-girlfriend in the head, yo. Um, Felt like a dream. Like, I never thought I would be that guy. Um, I can't go to prison. So the person that really started my depression and all of this is my ex-wife. So she next. And then I'm going to do myself too. But I just wanted to say this to people. Don't play with people's emotions, man. Don't lie on these men. Oh, here's my ex-wife right here. Today's the day.
Today's the day. Horrible, horrible situation. As you can see, this man has been through a lot. Now, to elaborate on that live video of this man committing these crazy crimes, first I would like to say that everything that he did is absolutely wrong. He deserves what's ever coming to him in the afterlife. It would be never something that I would agree with. It's just horrible, and it's very sad. It's very sad to know that even some people even go through these things, right? Um, but to elaborate on that live, I had saw the live, but then my mother's watching a news, like they had a news clip, and basically they were elaborating on the story, and basically on the news they were saying that what his ex-girlfriend said to him exactly. She said that I can understand why your ex-wife left you. And knowing his situation, and obviously he had a lot more things going on in his life, um, but she said that to him and she threw that in his face. Now, before we get into that topic, I would like to say that what he did was wrong. I see it all the time when women say, "Oh, you made me act crazy. You made me do this." No, you react to every situation on how you decide to act on that situation. You can react positively or you can react negatively. But it is never worth going and doing something like that. At the end of the day, you have to take responsibility for your actions. You have to take responsibility for the people that you deal with. You have to take responsibility for your life and your circumstances. No one else is responsible for that. You chose to lay down with those women. You chose to be with those women. You decided to deal with women like that. And even furthermore, There's obviously it's a man that didn't understand relationship dynamics. Obviously it's a man who probably had insecurities. It is not cool what he's did. It is not right, and he has to take responsibility for his life. Yes, people can say things to you that may trigger you. People may know that you may be mentally feeble. People may know that you may be mentally weak, and they may try to take advantage of that. These things happen. Yes, that is a real thing. That doesn't make it okay. That doesn't make it okay. That doesn't make it okay for you to go harm someone's life, take someone's life. I say the same thing with women. Oh, he made me crazy. He did this, he did that, so I went and broke his windows. Okay, well, now you have a felony. It's a felony charge in New York. You break somebody's window, anything over $250 in damage is a felony. So even furthermore, you have to take responsibility for your life. It doesn't matter. It goes back to, like, the most rudimentary things that I learned in kindergarten. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but your words will never hurt me. Yes, as rudimentary and simple as that sounds, little things like that help me build my self-esteem. So for you to say that this person is the cause of my depression, this person is the cause of this, that, and the third, that is you lacking accountability. That is you not taking responsibility for the things and the circumstances you allowed to come in your life. And this is why I tell guys, you need to understand relationship dynamics, because people get into these situations. People don't understand what it means to accept accountability. You have to accept accountability, and you have to know how to run your life. Most people, they don't accept accountability. Most people, they don't know what it means to be responsible for your life. Everything that comes in your life, you are responsible for. Yes, we mostly see it in women. They lack accountability, but there are men like it too. And this is the prime example. This man, he was depressed. Now, depression is a hard thing to deal with. I know people that suffer from depression. I have family members that suffer from depression. And I'm not trying to sound ruthless, and I'm not trying to say that I don't empathize with people or sympathize with people who suffer from depression, but ultimately you are responsible for how you react, how you handle situations. There's no other person to blame. You can't blame any outside source. Only thing that you can blame for things like that, if you're a young child and you are born into certain circumstances. But once you're an adult, and you can learn and retrain your brain to do certain things, you can take yourself out of these circumstances. Yes, it may be hard, but people do it all the time. There are plenty of testimonials, there are plenty of examples in life. Obviously, I'm speaking from a place that I have a great level of mental fortitude, of course. Like, I think I'm very tough mentally. I feel like I'm very strong. Not to say that I can never be in a place like that, but I don't think I will. But the point is, that man, what he did was wrong, and he didn't take accountability for his actions. Now, with that being said, there are people who manipulate. There are people who take advantage. There are people who know that, oh, I can take advantage of this person because he's weak. I can take advantage of this person because I know certain things that I will say to trigger him or trigger her, right? With some people, if you let them know your weakness, they will ride you to the moon. They will ride you to the moon. And this is why I tell guys all the time, you don't show jealousy. You don't show that jealousy. If you get jealous or something, you get mad at something, and you know this person is trying to trigger you, say, okay, well, you know what? That's fine. Oh, so-and-so was talking to me at work today. Oh, really? Really, was he? Yeah, he was trying to get my number. Okay, well, did you give it to him? No. Oh, why not? Because, like, you're my boyfriend, or I'm talking to you. Okay. Oh, you don't care? No, it's not that I don't care, but what are you telling me for? Oh, you're being honest with me. Okay, well, very interesting. I mean, if he's a nice guy, then maybe you should give him a chance. Just being sarcastic, just being nonchalant. Why? Because I'm not allowing that female, I'm not allowing anybody to trigger me. I'm not allowing anyone to press any buttons. Why I'm not giving them any buttons to press. Always stay calm, cool, and relaxed. You have to understand what's going on. That's why you have to understand relationship dynamics. Not everybody is taught this stuff, but it's very crucial. So now this person knows, oh, I can say this to make him upset. I can say this to trigger him. I can do this to trigger this man. Oh, I know how to get him now. Oh, yeah, I know how to get him. I know what to say. I know what to do. And I know how to get him upset. I know how to do it. So what am I gonna do? Oh, next time he gets on my nerve, I'm gonna say this because I know that hurts him. Oh, I'm gonna say this. I know that hurts him. That's why I don't give them no buttons to press. I don't confide in women. I get about maybe 30 to 40 calls a month, private phone calls where guys are purchasing private consultations. And one of the biggest traps I see, and it's usually the same case with most men, one of the biggest traps that I see, they say, oh, my girlfriend says she wanted me to open up and show more emotions and talk to her and express myself more. And then when I finally did it, she punished me or she used it against me. I've heard this one situation a lot of times. Oh, I didn't grow up. I grew up without my father, and my father left when I was young, right? And similar situations, not always the same. And the guy will tell me that, oh, my girl told me that, oh, you know, when I was upset or something like that, or she's upset at me, she says, oh, I can see why your father left you. I can see why your father left your family. Look how you act. I see it all the time. I see it all the time. Just like the same example. My mother did the same thing, and not exactly like that. I was telling her it was about a while ago. I was telling her about an ex-girlfriend. I probably was with my ex-girlfriend at the time. I was like, she's having a hard time right now. She doesn't really have any money, and it was just things I kept telling my mom. She's broke right now. She's not really doing too well. And then one day, I came home and I'm like fixing some food. I'm like, Mom, you didn't make none food, this and that and the third. She was like, well, go over your broke ass girlfriend house and tell her to come make you some food. Right, just throwing it in my face. And I think it's a woman's nature. And I spoke to a friend about this. She said, well, when women get upset, they want to say things just to trigger you and make you upset. And they use it as ammo against you to try to hurt you. And why do they do this? Because women, they're not as strong as men. They're not physically strong. They can't fight you. Some will if you allow it. They're not going to readily fight you. So what do they have to do? They have to use their wits. They have to use your intelligence. They have to do something to try to get you back or try to make you upset. This is why I tell men, don't fall for that trap when she says, I want you to express yourself. Now, it's good to communicate. You can talk about certain things, but when it comes to your feelings, when it comes to you being vulnerable, when the things that make you extremely upset, the things that will hurt you, past traumas that will trigger you. You don't share that shit. If you want to talk about it with somebody, you find a friend, you get a therapist, you book a private consultation with me or someone similar who you can talk to, and even if it's just to fucking vent. And I'm not saying all women are like this. There's always exceptions in every situation. There's always exceptions, right? There's always exceptions in every situation. But it is something that I see on a regular basis. I'm telling you from firsthand experience, and I speak to guys on a regular who book private consultations that are in relationships. You don't confide in women. Even if you think she's an exceptional person, okay, cool. I have the exceptional girl. My girl isn't like that. Okay, well, why take the risk and find out the hard way? Why fucking take the risk and find out the hard way? There's some craziest shit I've seen, and I see it on a daily basis. So I am thoroughly convinced that this is an element that women have to them. Not all, not all. Like I said, there's always exceptions in every situation, but this is a real element that some women do have to them, and it's something that you should be cautious of. It's something that you should watch out for. And when I say don't confide in women, I mean it. When it comes to emotions, things that past traumas, things that maybe that make you a little more vulnerable, things that are triggering to you, you don't tell them that shit. Because when upset, she will try to use it against you. She will try to hurt you. I see it all the time. And one of the biggest things I see is guys who don't have fathers, guys who have bad relationships with their mom. They say, "Oh, I can see why your father left you when you were a kid." That shit hurts. That shit is not cool. Why would you say that to somebody? Don't get me wrong. I've said hurtful things too, but not to a person that confides in me, not to a loved one. And the problem is, you guys, you let this shit go unpunished. Someone can say anything to you, and not only do you don't say anything to the girl, you don't punish her in any type of way. It's manipulative and cruel behavior. Arguing is not enough. You need to separate yourself. There's a guy who called last week, and he told me he had a similar situation. It wasn't necessarily about that. It was about he had like sex issues or something, like he was having trouble, this and that and third. And she said, "I can see why your ex did this, that, and the third." Playing on his insecurities. Playing on his insecurities. And I said, "You know what? Stop talking to her. Stop talking to her." He was like, "Well, I do love her." I said, "Well, you got to stop talking to her for at least a week or two. Preferably 2 weeks. Why? Because that's going to show her, listen, I don't like what you did. One, it was disrespectful. You took advantage of me being vulnerable. I confided in you, and you threw it back in my face and used it against me. So by you not saying anything, you're sending a very strong message and saying, listen, you did that shit, and if it happens again, I'm done with you for fucking good." 2 weeks of silence, that person will know, "Oh yeah, I definitely fucked up. I can't do that again." Even though I say you walk away from that person, you need to have an abundance mindset anyway. Because why talk to a person like that who can just readily hurt you? That's not somebody who cares. And I get it. Women are emotional. They say things and they do things when they're upset and they're emotional. No, fuck that. I don't play that shit. You do that with me, there are consequences. I'm not going to hit you. I'm not going to fight with you. I'm not going to argue you back. I will separate myself from the situation. And guys, you have to understand that separating yourself from the situation sometimes hurts way more than fighting, than arguing, than trying to get revenge or trying to be vindictive. That usually hurts way more. So sitting there and trying to fight with her and trying to argue with her and thinking that, oh, I'm going to do and say something back just as petty. No, because your issue still isn't resolved. She's going to do it again. And then it's going to be a war of going back and forth. It's simple. Your issue is never going to be resolved. How do you do that? You punish that behavior. You separate yourself. And you let her know, I'm never dealing with that type of shit again. But don't give them any buttons to press. Don't confide. Don't take that risk. Seriously. Don't take that risk. Because why even do it for yourself? Why even do it to yourself? Don't wait. Don't be that person who doesn't believe shit stinks until you smell it, where you got to just go through it to yourself. Take other people's wisdom. You guys know I have private consultations all the time. I do this shit. I've turned it into a business. And I'm telling you my own personal experience. Friends' experience, my experience. The guys who are older than me experience. The multitude of guys who I speak with on a day-to-day basis, on a weekly basis, monthly basis. Don't fucking do it. You want to talk about your issues, you want to express yourself, you want to be emotional, talk to your mother, talk to maybe your brother. Talk to your fucking talk to your friends. Book a private consultation, get a therapist. Don't confide in that women and women say it all the time. Well, yeah, I want you to express yourself, show emotions. But what they don't tell you is, I don't want you to do it too much. I want you to put an extent on it, right? I don't want you to be super feminine. I don't want you to be super vulnerable, right? I don't want you to, be crying all the time, because I promise you will turn them off. And as a result, when they do that, guys do that shit and they fall for that trap, and the woman starts to pull back. She starts to punish you. She'll throw that shit in your face. There are a lot of different variations of what happens when you do that. Now, like I said, there's always exceptions. There are women that you can just do that to, but those are fucking unicorns. And I have yet to see one. I haven't seen one yet. I know they exist. I just haven't been fortunate enough for one to come across my path. I don't know. God ain't blessing me on that level. I've been blessed, but not to get a unicorn. Don't do it. Don't do it. And now with the clip that I played with the guy who went and when they talked about it, I played the live clip where he said that, oh, I'm gonna go do this, that, and the third. He took the life of his ex-girlfriend, right? And then went and go took the life of his ex-wife. Now, he's wrong, obviously, and then took his own life. He's wrong because you have to take accountability for your life. You can't blame somebody else for that. Yeah, somebody might cause it, but that's a part of life. Everybody goes through shit. That's why we're here. The trials and tribulations. Nobody said life is easy. It can be easy, but you create that reality. But not everybody's the best at mastering their mind. You can't blame anybody else for your life and your circumstances. I don't give a fuck how you put it. The only people that can do that are babies and young children. They're not asked to be born, and they're born in certain circumstances. You can't be a grown-ass man or grown-ass woman going around blaming people for the shit that goes on in your life. You can't do that. And as a man, nobody gives a fuck. So what this guy did, not only did he not take responsibility, but obviously he knows, he knows that he has, they know he has issues. His ex-girlfriend, his ex-wife knows he has issues. She said his ex-wife lied and said that he was, being inappropriate with his children, touching his children in an appropriate way, right? And then he gets a new girlfriend, he gets her pregnant. And what the news said was, she said, I can understand why your ex-wife left you. Now, obviously, and he said that she was the cause of his depression. So obviously she knew that, and she said that shit purposely to hurt him. Now, what he did as a result in taking both of their lives, that's no excuse. Growing up in Islam, they said, taking one life is like taking 100 or taking all of humanity or something like that. It's not. It's no reason to ever do that. But you see why I say don't confide in women with your issues. One, you should never get to that place where you want to take your life and take someone else's life. Two, you have to take responsibility for the things in your life and take responsibility for whatever happens in your life. And most of all, those type of things, don't show it. Don't tell it. Right? At least not to your loved ones. And I'm not saying you can't speak, and I'm not saying you can't have feelings, and I'm not saying that you can't talk about your issues. There's nothing wrong with that. But you don't do it to the person who has the potential of hurting you. And even still, the women that say that, when I say the high quality woman and low quality woman, you have to be able to filter those, right? The woman that says, if you cheat on me, I'm gonna cheat on you back. Right? Oh, if you hurt me, I'm gonna get you back. The vindictive woman. Those are low quality women. Those are the women that will say some shit like that. That you confide in them, tell them personally, they will throw it back in your face because they think that's funny. It is not cool. You don't confide in people that have the potential to do things like that. And not to say that there aren't men like there's some men like that. Those motherfuckers, you don't trust them either. And this is a prime example. And I hear this shit all the time. I hear it all the time. Especially when women break up with a man. Oh, you had this wrong and that wrong and this wrong, right? They think they want to go and destroy shit. They know how much you love something, so they go and destroy it. They try to hurt you the most. Why? Because they're hurt. You stay away from those type of women. You don't associate with those type. Those are not the type of women that you wife. Those are not the type of women, because then if you get upset and you try to do something back, now you have a DV charge. Now you're dealing with a domestic violence charge. It's not worth it. If you know you're dealing with somebody like that, get a grip, grow some balls, and leave. It is never worth it. Never. It is never worth it. And this is a prime example, because most human beings aren't going to take responsibility for their life. If most human beings understood this, everybody would be fucking rich. Everybody would be successful, because everybody points blame. It's like when fighters, and I can understand it too, but a lot of fighters, they say, "Oh, my coach wasn't doing it. I'm training. I'm getting a new trainer." And sometimes it gets, it could just be like the trainer isn't, they don't have the best game plans. Are there better trainers out there? That's cool too. But at the end of the day, you have to take responsibility, because at the end of the day, that coach can't get in the ring with you. It's just you. This ain't fucking football or soccer, And this is why I use that example. You have to take responsibility. Don't confide in women. Don't fall for that shit when they say, I want you to open up. I want you to express yourself more. Yeah, you can talk more. You can communicate. Don't talk about things that's vulnerable. Don't allow yourself to be made upset. When somebody's trying to trigger you and you know this person's trying to purposely do things to make you jealous, learn some self-control. Don't react. If you have a hard time with it, start practicing it. Stay calm, cool, and relaxed. You don't want to react to things like that. Because one way or another, I'm telling you, come back to bite you in your ass. It is not cool. And some people may disagree. That's fine. But I'm talking, I see this shit on a regular. Anybody can say bullshit. Okay, whatever the fuck ever. I don't care what you think. I talk to guys on the regular. Unless you're doing what I'm doing, unless you're a fucking psychologist. And even still, a psychologist may not agree, because they don't have that whole concept of understanding hypergamy or female hypergamy or even, the so-called red pill. I've had guys tell me I did more for them than the psychologists and all the shit that they wasted their money on. Married couples. Well, the guy anyway. I'm not sitting down with two couples at a time like an actual therapist. Guys, my point is, don't do it. And this is a prime example, because if somebody with a faulty mind, like this guy who decided to take the life of his his pregnant ass girlfriend and his ex-wife, he left the kids alone and then took his own life. It doesn't make it any better. It's still not cool. The shit is still crazy. It's bananas. Absolutely crazy. But my point is, don't fall for it. Don't go for it. Don't allow your buttons to be pressed. Don't even show any buttons. And if somebody disrespects you and cross one of your boundaries, you punish bad behavior or you let them go completely. And if you don't, it will continue. It is a powerful statement to leave and just stay silent. You hurt them more by leaving. Don't do it. You can take that advice or you don't have to take it. But I'm letting you know. Just trust the wisdom that I'm kicking out. We're going to end this podcast off with J.O. Compete. I didn't even play it from the beginning. It's such an intense fucking episode. I'm just out here on the road, I'm just trying to get this chase. Reminiscing about your body, how you put it all on me. When it's all said and done, you the one I'm trying to see. Yeah, them hoes cool, but again, shoot, they don't compete. Nah, they don't compete. Yup, when I get back home, best believe I'm trying to see. Yup, where you been all this time, baby girl, I need. Yup, been with other women, but they really don't compete. Nah, they don't compete. Shorty cold, she bring winter to the summertime. I ain't trying to gas her, but she want a kind. Might be talking crazy, cause the pussy heavy on my mind. But every time I get a bad one, this happens all the time. But it don't feel the same, yeah, it feels different. My niggas say I'm bugging all the time and say I'm tripping. Try to give me mad advice, but you know I never listen. Fuck all that, she got what I need and everything I'm missing. I'm just out here on the road, I'm just trying to get this chase. Reminiscing about your body, how you put it all on me. When it's all said and done, you the one I'm trying to see. Yeah, them hoes cool, but again, shoot, they don't compete. Nah, they don't compete. Yup, when I get back home, best believe I'm trying to see. Yup, where you been all this time, baby girl, I need. Yup, been with other women, but they really don't compete. Nah, they don't compete. Yeah, and all that other shit is getting old. And we ain't getting younger, we just getting old. So why we wasting time? What we in it for? I visualize it in my dreams, but now I'm trying to see it though. Yeah, drop the Addy, baby, show me what you bout. Yeah, know you wanna fuck with me because of word of mouth. Yeah, kissing on your body while I'm going down south. Yeah, dick you down. Yeah, fuck you all over the couch. Yeah, you ain't gotta tell me, baby, I know what it is. Even if you got a nigga, he ain't fucking you like this. I'ma need you when your birthday, so we handle biz. When I pull up on you, you know that it's lit. I'm just out here on